Hey guys, it's John. I'm back with another video. In this video, it's going to be one team to look out for in the AFC and one team to look out for in the NFC. And just to be clear, when I say teams to look out for, I'm not saying these teams are going to win the division or get a playoff spot this year. I'm just saying these teams are going to compete each week. And, oh hey Lux. And they are just going to keep fighting until that final week. Stop that. Okay, the first things first, the AFC with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the first thing is, well, the head coach and the front office, they have been working together, throughout the past few years, building this team up because they knew it was going to be a rebuild project. So, the owner, the general manager, the president, they gave Gus Bradley enough time to put this team together. And now they're saying, this team is put together, now it's time to compete. And I think Gus Bradley is going to be ready to compete this year. I'm telling you, patience, it works. Being patient works. Look what happened to Carolina. That's all I'm saying. The second thing is Blake Bortles. He's going into his third year, and now it's time for him to be a leader. It's time for him to be a leader on this team and show why he was picked third overall. He made great strides last year, but now he's got to take it to the next step and become a leader and become even better than he was last year. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say when a guy throws 35 touchdown passes, but there's always room for improvement, especially since the fact that he threw 18 interceptions. So don't forget that. And to help him out, he's got probably the best young receivers in this league in Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns. Allen Robinson had 1,400 yards last year, exactly 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns on 80 receptions. That's pretty good, considering he was hurt his rookie year. He got hurt, missed the final few games of the year, and now he's going into his third year. He's their number one, and he's just going to keep getting better. And Allen Hurns, he was undrafted. You got to think, he was undrafted, and right away he became a focal part of the team. 64 receptions, 10 touchdowns, over 1,000 yards. What more could you ask from your number two receiver? And they still have other guys that can play. You have Marquise Lee, you have Rashard Green, you have a lot of guys that can still play on this team. It's not just those two. They got depth all over wide receiver, and that's why this core it's probably the deepest core. It's probably the best young core. Don't forget about the tight ends. You have Julius Thomas and Mercedes Lewis. I'm going to start with Mercedes Lewis because he's the veteran. He's going into his 11th year. He's the last guy remaining from the last time the Jaguars made the playoffs. He's hungry. He wants to get back to the playoffs because that happened back in 2007. It's about 9 years the last time they went to the playoffs. And he's the last one remaining. He wants to go back as much as anybody else. And you have Julius Thomas. The guy got hurt during the offseason. He didn't really get into a rhythm with the offense. Now he's fully healthy, and I bet he's going to be in rhythm this year. You know what? This defense should just get better. Because now you got the pieces in place. You have your pieces in place, starting with that front line. A guy like Darren Marks, who was probably their best lineman last year, he's probably going to be a backup. That shows you how good this line got from last year to this year. It starts with Malik Jackson. They took him away from Denver, and he's going to be a stud right away. They're hoping. You have Dante Fowler, who tore his ACL last year, but they're expecting him to be They are expecting him to be a pass rusher right away, and I think he will be. I'm not saying he's going to get 10 sacks this year. I'm just saying he's going to be a pass rusher, and he's going to show why he was drafted third overall. And the linebackers are probably the best group on this defense, in my opinion. Because you got the quarterback of the defense and a very, very, very good veteran in Paul Posnowski. Sorry if I said his name wrong, but he's the quarterback. He's the best linebacker on this team, and he is just... There's no more I can say. He's just a really, really good linebacker. There's no more you can ask from your middle linebacker than what he does for this team. You know, they just drafted Miles Jack in the second round. They got to steal from him. If the knee works out, they got to steal in him. You know, he's running with the first team already. Looks like that knee's just fine right now. You know, what more could you ask from your second round pick for him to already be on the first team? If the knee holds up, he's going to be a really good player. You know, you had Telvin Smith who's getting better. You know, he's just getting better. He's the weak link of the linebackers, and he's still a very solid player. So really, there's no weak link. And again, they got some depth. You know, they got some depth here. Got some depth. So that's pretty good. Still, the secondary, they completely remade the secondary. I mean, you drafted Jalen Ramsey. You signed Prince Amukamara. You had Devon House, who is starting at one side. Amukamara is probably going to be the nickel. Ramsey's going to be the other starter. And you got Aaron Colvin, who, once he comes off that suspension, he's probably going to be in the rotation. So really, they have 4 solid corners right now. 4 solid corners. And then the secondary, you signed Deshaun Gibson. You take him away from Cleveland, and now he's your free safety. And then you have Jonathan Cyprien, and that's the weak link of the defense, the strong safety. Jonathan Cyprien or James Sample. Those two are going to be fighting for that strong safety spot, from what I heard. And one of those two has to emerge as a good starter, or at least a solid starter, because that could be a weak link. You know, the strong safety, that's very important because that's your thumper. That's a guy that's going to be playing that guy plays in the box. He's the one that mainly goes up against the tight end. You know, if you want a good strong safety, will be able to go up against the tight end, will be able to stop the run, and will be able to stop the run. So if they don't have that, that's pretty weak. It's not the end of the world, but you know, you still want a solid strong safety. You don't want to have that weak link. Still, and the team to look out for in the NFC, you know, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay started off 6-6, if you can believe it or not. Then they lost their last 4 games. Okay? In Tampa Bay, again, it starts with the quarterback with Jameis Winston. I know, I kind of jump without, I just kind of jump, and I really don't care. But yeah, Jameis Winston, he's going into his second year. You know, he got better as the year went on. He didn't start off very good. You know, against Tennessee, it was his first pass that was picked off, but he just kept getting better as the year went on. And now that he's in his second year as a starter, he is going to show why he was the first overall pick, why he was picked over Mariota. Because I'm actually expecting Winston to have a better year than Mariota. I'm expecting that because Winston, he's familiar with the offense. He's now familiar with his receivers. And he's going to start to take the leadership role. He's not going to take the leadership role. He's going to start to take it. That's what you want to do in your second year. That's what Wardle started to do. Now it's Winston's turn to start to do that. And then he'll take over the leadership role in his third year. That's what you want. That's what I want to see from my quarterback. But yeah, so Winston, he's just going to keep getting better. Okay, Winston will just keep getting better as he continues to play. And he started all 16 games last year, so that's a thumbs up for him because he beat Mariota. Mariota missed the last 4 games, and Winston was able to stay healthy throughout the whole season. So that was pretty good. Okay, Doug Martin. Oh, and the thing with Winston, he really worked hard to get into shape this year. He really worked hard to get into shape, and that's really showing on the practice field. And don't worry about the second preseason game. You know, he could have just been off that game. I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit. You know, Doug Martin. Okay, Doug Martin, this is a really big question mark because his first year he got 1,000 yards. The next 2 years he didn't do so well. He was inconsistent. He kept getting injured. Then his fourth year, you know, when it was a contract year, he had just a great season. Can he do it again? Or can he at least come close to that? Or is he going to be the injured, inconsistent person that he was his second and third year in the league? That's a really big question mark, okay? You don't have a running back. You don't have a team. You know, New England can get away with it, but not a lot of teams can. I think New England's the only team that could possibly get away with not having a good running back. You need a good running back. I don't care if the position's been devalued. You need a good running back if you want to succeed in this league. You know, and with the people that Winston is throwing to, the wide receivers, you have Vincent Jackson, you got Mike Evans. Mike Evans is heading into his 3rd year, and he wants to bounce back from that 2nd year. You know, he only had 3 touchdowns. You know, the numbers and the receptions were pretty... Receiving numbers and receptions, they were pretty solid. Well, the yards and the receptions, sorry. You know, they were pretty solid, but the touchdowns were 3. He wants to improve on that. You know, and you still have Vincent Jackson, and he has lost a step, but he's still a very solid receiver, and he's going to be teaching Evans what to do. Because Evans will be taking over, or at least I hope he's going to do that. Because if you want to be a good veteran, you not only still put up solid numbers, but you teach the young guys what to do and when they and what they have to do when they take over. And so we better. And you got some problems at tight end. You got Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He really, really needs to step up. He got some motivation. Let's see if he can use it. Okay, and again with the defense, it's the same. The secondary, it's the same thing. Same thing in the secondary, but with the corners, they have to come around. Okay? You drafted Vernon Hargroves. You know, Jonathan Banks is now a backup. You got Brett Grimes. These corners have got to step up and cover these receivers that the NFC South has. Because the NFC South has some pretty good receivers. Okay? So these corners have got to do a good job and just play well. Okay? And the same thing with the safeties. Safeties have got to play well. Okay, again, the linebacker solid. You got Levante David, who's just a star in this league. You have, you know, you signed Darryl Smith, who's a great veteran, and they have a pretty solid middle linebacker. Actually, I forgot the middle linebacker. I forgot the guy's name. Oh yeah, it's Alexander. Alexander, the rookie. He was pretty solid last year until he got hit with that 4-game suspension. So now he's going into his 2nd year. He's got to take over a leadership role now. He's got to take over a leadership role within the team and show that he has learned his lesson. You know, and finally with the line, you know, you have Gerald McCoy, who is a star in this league. He stayed healthy. He showed what he's doing. You drafted Noah Spence to be a pass rusher. They need to get something off the edge. Now they have the same problem. And they have the same problem that some other teams have, where the interior is great, but the defensive ends, they can't get a pass rush. You know, I forgot some of them. I had one in my head and I lost it. I'm sorry about that. And it's just everybody else in the line has to come together. You got you have Akeem Spence, Robert Ayers, Clinton McDonald, and some other guys that need to come along and perform. Okay, that's all they got to do. And that's all Jacksonville has to do. These guys have to perform. They perform, they're going to be just fine. And the thing with Tampa Bay is, yes, they fired their head coach, but they hired within. You know, their new head coach was the offensive coordinator last year, so he knows the team. So you're hoping that they don't miss a step. Again, when I say look out for these teams, I'm saying look for them to compete. Just look for them to compete. Okay? I'm not expecting these guys to win the division. I'm not expecting them to get into the playoffs. I'm just expecting these guys to compete week in and week out and show that in the future they will be a team to look out for, to keep looking out for, to get into the postseason, to make a deep run into the postseason, to challenge for the division crown. You know, this is the season that starts it. Sorry for the stutter. I will call myself all that a lot. But that's it. And guys, my next video, it's gonna be my predictions video, you know, for the playoffs. Okay, what teams are gonna make the playoffs, who's gonna win the division, what the seeds are gonna be. That's my next video. See you guys next time.